Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Libra in April 2020. What is going on, Libra? How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, Libra, welcome to April. How's everything in your life going? Is it good? Are you happy? Are you content? Are you safe? Are you secure? I hope all of that is true, or I hope all of that is available to you, or, just good things for you guys. Uh, wow, what's going on in the world? COVID-19, coronavirus right now in our human history. So a lot of us are at home, quarantined for days and weeks on end. A few people probably are about to, probably in the next week or so, hit 4 entire weeks being under quarantine. No matter how this pandemic is affecting you, no matter where you are in the world, I hope that you're safe, you're secure, you're healthy, and you're happy as much as possible. I absolutely understand how many people would be going kind of out of their minds, not really having, the mobility and the freedom that they used to have, and, being able to be physically in contact with the people that they know and love. So I understand that that can be super difficult. But, we need to persevere as a unit, as a whole, to keep this illness, keep this virus at bay, and hopefully we can come up with a vaccine sooner rather than later, okay? So hang in there, my friends, hang in there. It's hard for all of us. It's a Saturday, so I would love to be out doing something, but, I'm not. But I think I'm faring better than several people I know, so, I can't complain too much, okay? All right, Libra, let's get into it. I have shuffled off camera. That is your main spread there. I'm going to shuffle on camera now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that is when the reading begins. Timestamps in the description box below if you want to jump ahead. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. If you have any questions before you actually place an order with me, you can email me at the same address and I will answer you as soon as possible. And some of you may have noticed with the opening title, I am now on Instagram doing tarot readings over there. Well, I shouldn't say I'm doing tarot readings, but what I'm doing on Instagram is I'm pulling daily oracle cards. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me over there at EmpathicFire Tarot. There will be another graphic right there, and that will show you again what that name is, EmpathicFire Tarot, if you want to drop me a follow. Daily oracle cards, I missed a couple of days. Because, I just, I'm finding sometimes the energy isn't right, and I'm just like not with it. So, but mostly daily, and it's intuitive readings, and it's, just a little slice of what I do here on YouTube, but over on that platform. So if you want to follow me, super cool. If not, that's also cool. Everybody makes their own decisions, okay? All right, Libra, let's get into it. Let's see your outcome for April 2020. I want to see the outcome for Libra in April 2020. Please show me. Hey. Okay, I just dropped like half the deck on the ground. That's not cool. Oh, but it stayed together. That's cool. It didn't like fly all around the place. That's excellent. So we're not going to take any of these because they fell to the ground and that bottom of the deck doesn't count for anything. So let's try this again, shall we? Show me, please, the outcome for Libra in April 2020. Ay, Dios mío. I'm going to have to show me or stop me for Libra, please, for the outcome. Show me or stop me Libra's outcome in April 2020. I have to say, it took a long time to get your spread, Libra. So that indicates to me some tight-lipped action, maybe a shutting down of your energy or reluctance and reserved energy maybe. Show me or stop me for Libra's outcome. Thank you. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. This fell sideways in my lap, so let's see which way they want it on the board. For Libra in April 2020. Yes? No? Yes, thank you. Okay, Libra, what's going on? Things are moving slow for you. Let's flip everything that came face down so we can get a better look at it. Okay. Okay. And here in the outcome as well. All right. See? Yeah. Par for the course, it feels like already. But I could be wrong. I don't want to influence the reading with my initial reactions. We'll just get into it and figure this thing out together as a team. It's just me, but you're here too. All right, let's see what's going on. Please show me where Libra is in April 2020. Libra in April 2020, please show me. Two positions. I need one, please. Thank you. Libra, April 2020. Okay, thank you. That was quick. That was quick. That was quick. And like the clarification was quick, but not the getting to it. But all right, Libra, let's get into it. Coming in to April 2020, you come in with the energy of the Seven of Swords. Well, friends, it's either you or someone else, but there's some sneaky behavior going on here. There's some mistruths, some deception, some general avoidance going on with the Seven of Swords. We have someone here, as you can see, kind of taking what we can presume isn't his and walking out the door or walking out this gate. And I'm not trying to say, you're a thief, and that is also one of the interpretations of this card. And I'm not saying that you're stealing or, you're doing anything wrong or anyone else is, but there is just this covert energy. Covert. I don't think I've ever used that word when I've come into this energy, covert. And when I'm saying, the feeling I get with covert is like it's an operation, right? It's like a militarized type of operation. So maybe some of you are in the military, or you have a background in military or some type of, civil service in terms of like police work maybe. But yeah, covert operation, sneaky espionage. Wow. Like maybe some of you are on like a James Bond kick. My mom called me the other day and we were talking and she's like, I'm watching all the James Bond movies on Hulu. And I'm like, okay. So maybe some of you are watching lots of like spy movies or something. But more to the point, this is an energy of tiptoeing away, of avoiding, of, ducking in and out of shadows, undercover. Maybe that's another thing. Maybe some of you are doing undercover work. If that is your line of work, or maybe you're working with private eyes, I don't know. But there is some like decidedly deceptive action going on around you, whether it's you or someone else. It is decidedly deceptive. Now, with the words such as covert, espionage, spy, things like that, right? There's this tone of seeking information. There's this tone of a bigger plan at hand or a bigger goal at hand. It's not lying for the sake of lying. It's not deception for the sake of deceiving someone and hurting someone. Again, related to the words like covert and spy and all that stuff. When you have those words, the connotation is, I have a mission. I have a purpose behind doing these actions, saying these words. Now, I'm not giving anybody clearance because that's not my, number one, that's not my position. But what I'm feeling is someone is decidedly deceptive for their own purpose, their goal, a mission, whether that's related to a line of work, whether that's related to a business relationship, whether that's related to a friendship, I don't know, or any other type of relationship or situation you might be in. And as an empathic person, and I've had to explain this a few times in the readings I've done for April, as an empathic person, I'm able to connect to the energy of the person I'm reading for, whether it be you or someone else who might be cross-watching or someone else who's in your energy field. And what I'm feeling is there is a reason that someone cannot be truthful. Either it's their own disposition, it's just how they are, they've always been kind of, in the gray area in terms of truth, or they've always been withheld. Thank you. That's another aspect that I'm getting, like they hold back They don't reveal much. They don't speak much. They don't divulge details, something like that. Or someone's line of work is making them do this, or someone is doing this to protect another person. There's a whole bunch of reasons in here. So again, as the empathic person, there is this tendency for me when I read to kind of to find the reason or relate to the reason. I'm not personally relating to it, but relating to the reason. Like, it feels justified. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. It feels justified for someone that the way that they're, deceiving is, again, justified. It has a purpose. It's serving a bigger purpose. It's serving towards a mission, a goal, some type of output or not output. What do you call it? What do you call that? Jeez, it's not output. I mean, maybe. Ending, I guess. There's like a certain end goal here that someone is thinking about, with the swords. That's related to air energy. And when we talk about swords and air, we're talking about mentality. We're talking about the way people communicate, the way that they rationalize the world, and the way that they communicate with other people, all that kind of stuff. So this person's rationale and the way that they're, serving that rationale is related to a particular goal, related to a particular outcome. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Output. Outcome. Thank you. This person has an outcome in mind, and they're very silent about it, as one would be if you're a spy, if you're some type of covert operation, militarized thing going on. And again, I'm like, that's like someone's like legit job. Like, they're a detective, they're undercover, they're working a huge case. But that's like for a few. More to the point, there is something you or the other person or someone else around you is like, I got to do this. I can't let anybody know that I'm doing this. And in the meantime, I have to sort of play a different role or behave a different way. Or for those who might be a little bit more clued in on the situation, so to speak, you might just be noticing that someone is acting strangely. If it's not about keeping secrets, if it's not about sneaking away, espionage, and all that stuff I was just mentioning, it could just speak to someone being odd in their behavior, odd in the way they speak, odd and unusual. Like, this person might be exhibiting behaviors that you've never seen before. And, relating to the time at hand, with the pandemic going on that affects many of us, that totally makes sense. If you are indoors for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks at a time, because this is a reading for April, it can go beyond. Time is very fluid, so take it as it resonates. But when you're in close quarters with people, or you do the same, you're in the same physical space day in, day out, no commuting, no errands to run, no going to the movies, no going out to dinner, nothing, none of that. And you're just in your house, in your apartment, wherever you live, wherever you're staying, right? That can cause people to act in ways they haven't ever displayed before. So that could be what the Seven of Swords is talking about, if it's not this extra layer of someone behaving differently, or someone keeping secrets, or someone actively deceiving in order to serve a long-term outcome, right? Wow. Okay, so interesting. And that, okay. They're like, remember what just happened. So off camera, it took me forever to get these 6 cards out. And then for those who, painstakingly watch me shuffle this deck to get the outcome and the overall, that also took a long time. So that is here. Things are taking a long time to develop. It's slowly being revealed, or you might slowly start to put the pieces together, whatever the situation is. And there was, in your premeditation, there was this reluctant energy, if I'm honest. It felt like, don't come in here, don't look over here, don't do that. It's like, no, nothing to see here, don't look, like that whole Wizard of Oz thing. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. It's similar energy. Are you like Wizard of Ozing people? Or is someone doing that to you? I guess we'll find out. So what else happens for Libra in April? Please show me. Okay, so we have an issue here. Um, there's a lacking here. Yes, there's a lacking here. Why am I saying that? There's a lack. Okay, gotcha. So there's a lacking here. I'm like, they're putting these words in my mouth, and I'm like, why am I even saying that shit? Six of Cups in reverse above your starting position. I'll show you this card upright so you can get better used to it. Maybe I shouldn't have done that there. It's focused there. And now I want you to focus here. So that's what it looks like in the upright. But you got it in the reverse. So Six of Cups traditionally talks about, nostalgic energy, looking back fondly on a relationship, on a connection, on a period in your life. Often speaks to childhood or adolescence, and just having tender memories about it, and blissful, warm-hearted affection towards someone, or like I said, a period in your life that has already transpired, right? In the reverse, I'm feeling like a souring of that vision, or we are coming to this realization that a certain relationship or whatever connects us back to those tender moments from the past, in the present, there's like a souring going on. There's like a festering energy. Like, oh, okay, thank you. I didn't need that, but all right. Like they put into my, that's strange. I think that happened in one of my readings in a private recently. But they put like a smell of like, rotting, well, I guess it's not rotting, but spoiling, like moldy cheese, like really stinky cheese, or like a nasty like milk smell. And so that's why you heard me kind of gag. But anyway, so that's what this feels like. Some of you, you might be going to the fridge and you haven't gone shopping in 2 weeks and the milk is spoiled. Don't drink it, pour it out and go get some more. Be safe if you're traveling outside. But that's what this feels like to me. It feels like we once had a good thing, whether this is a friendship, whether this is, a family relationship, relationships, like I said, Six of Cups can talk about childhood. So maybe a relationship with your child or with your parents, a romantic relationship, a business relationship, whether it's one person or a group of you, it really doesn't matter. It's a general, take it as it is, or take it as you will. But things are getting a little festery, and it's turning into something gross. And I'm not saying gross as in to insult you, but like, any of us or some of us have experienced, you ever drink milk and you didn't give it a sniff test beforehand, and that sourness hits your taste buds. It's like unpleasant. It's one of the most unpleasant things you could do, is smell or taste milk or some type of dairy product that has gone off, right? So that's what this is. The sweetness of, a nice glass of milk, or a nice bit of cheese, or some tasty yogurt, whatever if you're lactose intolerant, I'm sorry. This is kind of what they're putting into my head. But, you take a bite of anything, or you go to drink something, and you expect it to be pleasant. You expect it to be, refreshing. And then this time you go to drink it, or take a bite, and it's not. It's like rotting. It's like disgusting. It's gross. So that's what's going on here. You are coming into a realization, no, they're saying for some it's very sudden, uh, like a turn. Interesting. Okay. So when I hold this up to the camera and I do this, and then I do this, I'm turning the card. So they're saying it's a turn. The turn, it used to be this. It used to be in the upright for you and this person, or you and these people, right? But it's turned into this reverse. So this is a turn of events. Again, exacerbated possibly because of this pandemic. I mean, it's common sense. It's not about tarot. This is just common sense. You change a person's daily routine, you, the other person, everybody involved, whoever. A lot of people cannot deal well with that, and or you begin to learn about people in a different way when you are with them 24/7, right? Yeah, I get the sense that for some of you, this is living with family, this is living with roommates, or this is, even living with yourself if you're solo dolo. In those close confines, and again, 24/7 with like very little breaks in between, it's going to bring out the good and the bad, you know, simultaneously in different proportions, what have you. And I mean, I'm sure many of us have seen on social media, there have been like a lot of GIFs, or GIFs, if you want to pronounce it that way, GIFs and memes and everything on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere on social media that's like joking, like, when this quarantine is over, some people are headed to divorce court. When this quarantine is over, some people are going to come out with XYZ. You know, and that's a joke. You know, memes are usually jokes, right? But that is true. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen for you, Libra. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with, you know, anybody else, because this is not exclusive to a love reading or a marriage reading. But the tension runs high when people get together in close quarters. That's why you have lots of social experiments regarding people being confined to one space, right? Or the I'm not going to philosophize about it because I could go on a tangent, so I'm not. But that's what I feel is going on here for some of you, not everybody. You know, many people, you get to, like I said, it brings out the good and the bad. Many people are going to come into close contact with their friends and their loved ones, and it's actually going to do the relationship good. It's actually going to reconnect you in some type of way. And in other cases, it's going to be a dissection. No, that's not the word I want. A severing, a moving away from, a realization that, oh my God, this has been a time in our lives that we've really gone through the ringer. Let's say that. Now, again, I'm not predicting divorces over and over again. That's not going to be for everybody, or breakups if you're not married. It's not going to be for everybody. But for some people, this close quarteredness combined with someone acting strangely, or someone acting in like a sneaky espionage, you know, spy type manner, I don't know. These two together are not speaking to me about tightness, closeness. It's showing me separation. It's showing me that people are together, but they're separate. Oh, okay, that could be it. Like, it could be dissonance, I think is the word I want. Dissonance, emotional dissonance, cognitive dissonance in some cases, where dissonance in general is your reality doesn't match what you perceive or how you're perceiving it, right? You have a disconnect somewhere between what is actually going on in your world and what you believe is going on, or however you're reacting to it, or however you're perceiving it, right? So, and it usually comes or manifests or shows signs in the world, show signs in the way of disbelief. I do not believe this, right? So often, just to kind of explain the sensation I'm getting is when someone hasn't properly grieved or hasn't begun the grieving process due to a loss, whatever type of loss, right? Loss of a job, loss of a loved one, loss of money, whatever it is. There is that moment where you're kind of in that numb gray area, where you're not in the past where, you know, the person was still alive, you still had your job, you still had money, you still had stability, you didn't, you know, your house wasn't foreclosed on, you weren't evicted, right? Ah, that could be what's going on, because that's also coming up in a lot of people's readings is money crunches. But that previous time where you had those things versus the after time where you don't, there's that in-between space where I think someone is like kind of living. They're not accepting the loss yet. They're not accepting that their circumstances are changing, because again, the Six of Cups, when it's in the upright, talks about nostalgia, talks about looking at what it was before, how it was in the past, and blissfully looking at that. When you have it in the reverse, you can't look at it that way. You know, there are no, you know, fond memories, or the fond memories just won't cut it anymore, and reality sets in. And this is a very romanticized card, the Six of Cups, right? Okay. They're also throwing the word soulmate at me. So some of you relate to the Six of Cups, those who are familiar with tarot, and you could not be and still feel that. But some of you out here are familiar with tarot and you recognize this as a soulmate card and you're disappointed that it's come in the reverse. Fair enough. I understand. And I don't know what your personal definition of soulmate is. For me, that word is not, sunshine and rainbows. It is significant. It is a powerful word. It is a powerful concept, and those relationships do mean a lot. But for me personally, as a reader and as an individual, I would never say to someone, oh, you're soulmates. Oh my God, that's the most beautiful thing ever. It is beautiful, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. Okay, so if you've been with me for a while, you kind of already know that spiel. You kind of already know how I feel about that word, and I use it lightly. So them throwing it in my head and then me having to explain it means I'm talking to those who want to hear it. If you want to hear that word, take it. Okay, so regardless of what connection we're talking about, friends, family, lovers, business, yourself, again, this can always be self-contained energy, right? There's this souring and this turning of events and this just like, it's not cutting it. It's not what it used to be. And there is possibly some refusal to see that. Because again, if this is present, let's say this is arguably, let's say the Six of Cups in reverse is the reality of the situation, right? What any person could discern about the situation, right? There could be someone in the mix who is not seeing that, who sneaks away from that energy, who rejects or resists that energy with the Seven of Swords. So that's possible. Got a deep reading, Libra. Congratulations. What else happens? Please show me. I want some tea. Oh man, I want some tea. Which is interesting because I had breakfast like a while ago and I should have had it with breakfast. Anyway, what else happens with Libra? Please show me. Okay. Oh, okay. I think you're having a reading within a reading, or two sides of something, I think. Maybe, we'll see. All right, so next you have the Emperor card, Major Arcana for Aries. So some of you could be dealing with an Aries, but you don't have to be. Oh, Aries, that's your 7th house, right? You're Libra. Yeah, this is your opposite, right? Is that right? Yes. Oh, okay. So this could be your partner. Now, that's interesting. That's interesting, okay? Because I know that information, but I don't usually talk much about interpreting the astrological wheel and talking about interpreting houses in relation to, like, I don't know. That's just very strange. I know that information. I know the opposites, and I know that, okay, if I'm talking about a Libra in the natural astrological wheel of Libra, you would be in your own first house, right? That's just kind of how we interpret that. And so then the opposite of you would automatically be your 7th house. And 7th house is partnerships, particularly romantic relationships or romantic partnerships, because you, Libra, are the ruler of the 7th house and you are ruled by Venus and you are all about diplomacy and working together with other people and all that good stuff. So your natural 7th, Libra's natural 7th, not you as an individual, Libra as a zodiac sign, your natural 7th is the Emperor or the Aries energy, which is here. So for some of you, this is about a partnership. That's the long way to say why I'm saying that, because they threw that in my head so quickly. 7th house partner, and I said it. And I was like, why am I saying that shit? I normally don't talk about that. But anyway, it's a little fuzzy. Come on. There you go. And there you go. So Emperor could be your partner, male or female, doesn't matter. Aries is not, it does not mean you have to be dating an Aries or you have to be involved with one. No, it's very general. So please take it all with a grain of salt. But this is a very demonstrative figure. This is a very powerful person, kind of controlling, but if not controlling, just forceful, like dominant, very much, how can I say this? Like, you respect this person, or they command respect. In some cases, they might demand respect. But I feel, Libra, and this can go vice versa, so take it as you will. this person commands a lot of respect. They do a lot in the family, in the household, towards the business, in your friendships, whatever type of relationship this is, right? It's not all, romantic. It's not all about family. It can be friends. It can be business. And again, this can be your own energy. And this person is, interesting. They're showing me this guy. I mean, he's kind of up in the clouds if you look at the artwork, right? He's not really on any firm ground. So I'm getting the sense that maybe there's a little bit of an ego attached to the emperor, and if not that, they're in a high position in a company. Oh, that could be true for some of you who are, right, because this is a warlike energy ruled by Mars. So remember those where I was talking earlier in this reading. For those who had a background in military or are working for police forces, this could be your captain. This could be, your lieutenant, or whoever is above you in terms of, hierarchies and rankings in the military or in police forces. So this could be that type of person. That's very interesting. And that's like right on the money, because again, Emperor and Aries are both then attached to the planet of Mars, and Mars is the planet of war. So, wow. This person is very strong. And that could really be disconcerting for some of you. But before I get to that, I just want to finish this last bit about this person being not on firm ground. That shows me some type of, not detachment, what do you call that? I don't want to say delusion. It's not pure delusion. Oh God, what is that word? It's another D word, I think it is. It's not detachment. It's not delusion. Disassociation? Something like that. Basically, this person, I said that before, didn't I? With the six, are they the Six of Cups person? Because I did say that there was someone who is not able to, dissonance, even though this is not that D word, but is this the person going through a moment of dissonance, not able to believe what they're seeing before their eyes? Not on solid ground, meaning this person right now, as I'm, pointing to this in the artwork, this person is not grounded. This person is not on a solid foundation. So there might be, there's a disconnect somewhere between what they're doing and how they're behaving, or what they want, and what is actually possible, what is actually occurring, what is actually feasible, right? And resistance. God, okay. This person is becoming clear to me. I think that this person, related to the emperor archetype, wants to rule, wants to have control, wants to be influential in the situation at hand, wants things to go the way that they want them to go. Male, female, doesn't matter. I don't know what their relationship is to you, Libra. And again, this could be you. Take it as it is, or take it as how it resonates, right? But this person wants to be in control of something, and they're not in control of something. They're just not able to. And when the emperor is not able to control something, which is his natural way of being, right? The emperor becomes a little testy, let's say. So there's a possibility that this person is acting out of character, which again was kind of what I was hinting at, or kind of what I was feeling with the Seven of Swords. This person could be extra moody. I'm not sensing like terrible actions, but they could be very moody. They could be very irritable. They could be destructive, or what do you call that? Like they sabotage things. They're not acting right. Let's just put it that way. And it's hard because the way this person views themselves, or the way that they have perceived themselves before now, or the abilities that they had to act before now, gave them a lot of power, gave them a lot of sway, gave them a lot of control over a situation, right? So this could be, again, a boss. This could be a spouse, or an older sibling, or, your parents, your grandmother, your grandfather, whoever. This is someone who, because often in traditional depictions of the Emperor card, you'll see a much older male on the card, which speaks to being wise and having a long-standing experience, or long-standing history in being a leader, right? So this person in this moment, whether that's because of the pandemic, and I did say that about losing something, losing a loved one, losing money, losing a job, right? A lot of people are out of jobs right now. A lot of people aren't seeing an income, or they're furloughed, or they've been laid off, or they only work a certain amount of hours a week because of safety precautions, whatever. Because of that being taken away, this person now is looking back on what they had before and they're shitting on it, or they're disconnected from it, and it makes them bitter. I don't have what I used to have. I used to have a great job. I used to have, my loved one with me here on this earth. I used to have a lot more money. I used to have a loving relationship with my friends, my family, my whoever, right? And because of XYZ factors, it's not like that anymore. So they're very displeased. They're, oh, what's that? I don't like that. Take that away. I don't want that. Oh, like a headache? Thank you. Because that was like really quick. Something was like coming up behind my eyeballs and I didn't like that. So I asked it to go away. But some of them might be experiencing physical symptoms, headaches, migraines, physical pain or physical discomfort, not related to the virus, just like because they're possibly in their head overthinking and looking back on a situation and, oh God, they're off their game. Just that's just the bottom line. The emperor is off their game, and they may or may not be acting out, taking it out on other people. Because when the emperor is upset, he becomes very grumpy. He becomes very sullen. He becomes very punishing. Okay. Ooh, I don't like that. I'm just going to mention it real quick. This emperor might be taking it out on someone else. I'm just going to say that. And that's not fair. I don't condone that. I don't know in what form we're talking, but there is a potential that this emperor, due to their pain or their suffering or their discontent, they take it out on other people. And that's not right at all, but that is what they're doing. Okay. Oh, fuck off. I don't like that. So they quickly want me to mention that the archetypes, this does not have to be the facts. So I'm just going to talk about the archetypes that we talk about in tarot. Emperor is often related to the father figure or some type of male leadership, aka masculine energy. So it doesn't have to be a man. It can be a woman. But male, man, father type does not have to agree with the physical gender of the person, related back to the Six of Cups, which talks about childhood, innocence, purity, or youth. There is a potential that someone, an older person, an adult, is taking out their distress on a younger person. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know the details, but that is possibly going on. Let's move on, please. What happens next in Libra's reading? Please show me. All right, that's okay. So that has someone else. Here we go. Yes. So what's going on over here? Knocking everything about. What's going on over here has affected someone else and given them the energy of the Eight of Swords. This could be someone who's merely observing. It could be you or the other person directly. There's just someone in this story, and I'm sensing, again, family, friends. It could be focal on a pair of people regardless of the relationship, but it trickles out and it reverberates and it ripples out and it affects more than just two people. There might be two people in the nucleus of this thing, in the center of this thing. They might be the main, players here, but there is a supporting cast, right? So either one person or several other people feel this Eight of Swords energy because of what's going on over here with the previous three cards that we've discussed, right? So Eight of Swords, hands are tied, not able to move, not able to, affect change in the situation, feeling very stuck, feeling very isolated. Oh God, okay, here we go. Again, symptom of the time, or, it makes sense because of the quarantine that many of us are under. This person feels very isolated from the world. Now, this is not a prediction. This is just what I've discerned because I'm logical, and also what has been reported. And I'm not predicting anything, but I'm playing the odds here. There may be an issue for some of you about domestic violence going on because of this quarantine thing. It's come out in the news, both locally and nationally, that those types of calls to 911 or what is it? 999 if you're in the UK, is that it? But whatever it is, that domestic issues are on the rise, right? people are being called for domestic disturbances where people are arguing more, people possibly are getting into physical disputes with one another. And that's not, again, I want people to expand on what that concept is. It doesn't have to be a man abusing his wife or his partner or his children. It could be a woman. It could be, you have a teenager and they're acting out. They have a lot of rage issues. It's anybody in the household, okay? But that is kind of, because someone is, in some cases, reacting very poorly, very badly, very viciously or dangerously towards others, you got this, possibly the victim of the situation feeling like my hands are tied. I can't do anything. I can't get out of this situation. I'm in isolation. When normally, if we had big fights like this, I'd spend the weekend at my parents' house, or, I'd go stay at a hotel and, maybe we'd come back together and we could talk things through, or they would go out, that classic story of, after the abuser rages, they run down to the bar or they go on a bender and they won't be back for like 2 weeks. If like that is your life, you're used to that you're used to that roller coaster of dysfunction. Now, if it's under mandate that all people stay at home, holy shit. Now, that again is for a handful of people, maybe just one or two, but that's real life. And I find it very interesting that I'm like one of the rare readers that I've at least seen on YouTube that talks in these terms. Regardless of how real or how much of a degree you're experiencing that, Libra, or someone around you is experiencing that, there's a frustration and a hopelessness I feel with this Eight of Swords. There's a frustration and kind of a, chuckling at the skies, chuckling at the sky above. Like, isn't it ironic that, in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a crisis, my life is seeing its own crisis and I have no solution. I have no way out. Isn't that, oh God, someone might be chuckling, Lord, you have a sense of humor, and I mean, and that might be a defense mechanism. I get that also from this Eight of Swords. Someone might have a defense mechanism of humor, trying to diffuse a situation, trying to make the best out of a bad situation, because, that's one of the cliched phrases that we have, is like, you gotta laugh, what is it? You gotta laugh to prevent from crying, or whatever, however you're supposed to say it. And that's kind of what I feel here. This person is laughing at possibly quite horrible circumstances in order to keep themselves from crying, in order to keep themselves from having a full breakdown, in order to keep themselves hanging on and not, taking other types of actions or other types of measures. This is a powder keg. Thank you. This whole situation is a powder keg, or it's building to that. If it hasn't happened yet, it's building to that for some of you. And that, I don't mean to sound macabre, or I don't mean to sound as if, it's meant to threaten you in any type of way, but that's what this feels like, or at least that might be what someone is thinking. And you could be the outsider of this, Libra. You could be watching your friend or your other family member go through this. Your cousin doesn't have the best domestic relationship, or you love your parents, but when they're together, and they've been married for 40 years, but when they're in close proximity, they both were living separate lives before Corona hit, right? Your dad would be doing this, your mom would go off and do that, and they would, have a touch and go relationship. But now that they're together, it's going to be a powder keg. Some of you grew up in that circumstance, and that's also real life. I'm somebody who advocates for people acting in their own best interest and claiming their autonomy and acting in healthy ways for themselves, which then by proxy, hopefully would be healthy towards other people. But I know most people don't make those decisions and they don't operate those ways. That's why you end up with people who are in relationships for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years that aren't necessarily the healthiest, right? So I get that sense that someone here is devoted to, or feels bound to, with the Eight of Swords, feels stuck in a situation that is, they know, they have pure knowing. Interesting, pure knowing. They have pure knowing, that what they're in is not good for them and is not good for everybody else. Or, they might know that their behavior isn't good for other people, both the person who might be the victim and the person who is possibly the perpetrator, right? And that's not to give sympathy per se to the person who could be acting poorly, the emperor energy, right, that we spoke of earlier. It's not to say, oh, forgive them, or, oh, they're going through a hard time, so it's totally okay that they're abusive. No, not at all. But it is to say some people know that they're a bad person. Some people know that they act badly and quite heinously towards other people. But if your mindset is, which is often the way with the Eight of Swords, both on either side or whoever is experiencing this energy, I can't change my situation. I can't change who I am. I can't change how this is going to play out. This is like I said, a hopeless energy sometimes. So someone is like, I'm here and there's nothing I can do about it. And I always, for the most part, like 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, I disagree with that. But I know how many people think about the world, rationalize their lives. What are the alternatives? Beyond this being a coronavirus quarantine situation, what are the alternatives if we're talking about someone who's been married for 40 years? If we're talking about somebody who's possibly been working in a line of work for 20 years. This could be somebody who is working in the medical field and things are all topsy-turvy then, and your life is on the line trying to save people. I'm not sensing that purely here, but just to, give another example. What are you going to do? Turn your back when you're needed most? Some people are, but this person might feel, even though I'm scared shitless to go out and serve my community, to go and work in the hospital where we're seeing so many patients come in with these symptoms and we're making, life or death decisions. Absolutely. Many hospitals, many doctors, many nurses are making those decisions, right? This person might feel like, as much as I'm scared to put my life on the line and I don't like the feeling of having to, make calls to family members who can't even enter the hospital at the last moment of someone's life to be by their loved one's side. This is heartbreaking and incredibly crushing work to do. Do I walk away from it? I shouldn't, or I can't. I've dedicated my life to this work. This is what I've signed on to do. Someone has that feeling. I've signed on to do this, therefore I must, follow through. Personally, we're all different. I don't know what I would do in either situation, right? Obligations are here. Responsibilities are here. Feeling tethered or tied to something significant is here. There's so many stories, and I'm trying to keep them all clear in my head. But ultimately, I'm getting the sense of different energies, different energies, right? Having to compensate or having to work together, having to be in close proximity when maybe before now they could go on their own paths freely. And when I say energies, I might be talking about people, either two individuals or like, two different sides of an issue, something like that. When I say disparate energies, right? So that's what I'm seeing is like two energies, two people, two sides of an issue, or a group of people are forced to be close together, forced to work together in a way when it's not pleasing to either side. Let's just say that, okay? So what else happens? Oh my God. Okay, that's interesting. And I'm rubbing the hell out of my eyes because I might be developing a headache. Some of you might have an issue with chronic headaches. Or someone around you might. Like, I'm feeling really fatigued. And I shouldn't. Coming into this reading, I had a lot of energy. And this is like really taking a toll on me from the inside. But what okay, thank you. Whew. So here's that tie. Here's that bond. Yeah. 2 of Cups. Now, I'm going to go back to, what I was talking about earlier. Soulmate energy. This is 2 cards in traditional interpretations of tarot. You do have 2 cards on the board that speak to soulmate relationships or soul ties. Or at least, if you don't think in those terms, significant ties. Because again, the 6 of Cups can be seen as a soulmate energy. And I mean, looking at this card, you would be hard-pressed to not think of it in those terms. And so I will allow it. But again, I don't want anyone, I can't tell you what to do, Libra. I can't tell anyone what to do. And that's never my goal. But, please be open. There's someone out here in your particular energy that is confused, I'll say that, or feels challenged by the concept of soulmates being an experience that's meant to make you happier, or an experience that's meant to make you feel loved and loved unconditionally and all this other kind of stuff. And that can happen with soulmate relationships. But again, if you've been with me for a while, you already know what I'm going to say. So go ahead and make yourself a sandwich and come back. But for the person or the people that need to hear it, soulmates are not guaranteed easy relationships. They're not always going to be sunshine and rainbows and unicorn dust and everything no. To be someone's soulmate, to be someone's karmic partner, to be someone's twin flame, to be someone's divine partner in some form or fashion is going to come with a challenge. And I think some of you are extra confused, and I would be too, because, okay. Some of you are looking at the situation you're in, and it's painful, right? It's difficult, yeah? That checks out for me. Soulmate, karmic, twin flame, all of them, to me, are difficult. But the degree to which it's difficult, the degree to which you find yourselves in disagreement with the other person, possibly in an adversarial relationship with the other person, you're kind of like, oh no, is this really my soulmate? I will try very quickly to surmise what I think soulmates are here for, or the ways in which you can come across soulmates. There are some soulmates who are here and they're kind of mostly going to be quote unquote bad experiences, because a soulmate in general, whether it be a good experience or a bad experience, is meant to challenge you, is meant to help you evolve spiritually, right? You're meant to learn lessons from each other. You're meant to be challenged by each other, okay? Are you challenged by your second grade teacher who, maybe lifted your spirits one day, or lifted your spirits and really encouraged you to get involved in sports, or really encouraged you to pursue your interest in art? That could have been a soulmate. And that was a mostly positive experience. Oh, Mrs. Stevens, my second grade teacher, she was so cool. Perfect. That could have been a soulmate relationship, right? Is the person you're with now, or someone that you've dated in your previous part of your life, who was vicious to you, kind of nasty or narcissistic towards you, just cheated on you, did whatever. They were not the best person, right? But you learned lessons from them. They challenged you. They, in some way, even though they probably ground you down into the dirt and they made you feel awful about yourself, but on the other side of that, a year later, 2 years, 3 years, however long later, you are better off because now you've learned from that terrible experience. Was that person a soulmate to you? Possibly, in both cases. So that is why I think some of you are confused, or not able to properly evaluate with the Eight of Swords. Because, the woman is blind on the card, right? Her eyes are closed, right? Or she has a cloth over her eyes, right? She's blindfolded. So I get the sense that some of you are unsure how to evaluate or how to label this person, whoever they are to you. Could be your boss, could be your father, could be your mother, could be your best friend, could be you, right? Again, this could be like a personal journey. The purpose I feel for the Two of Cups and the Six of Cups showing up is to show you do have a significant connection with someone, or you do have a significant phase of your life that you're meant to evaluate, that you're meant to, I see it now, thank you, make a judgment call. We're going to get there in a second. And I feel a confusion. I feel flustered. I feel, again, like some of you are having chronic headaches. And again, it may be exacerbated, and it may be coming under a magnifying glass for some of you, because now people in your family, people in your community, people in your job are clustered together. If you're that person working in the hospital or working in the field hospitals or whatever you're doing, you're the person working in the military and you're being mobilized and, you know, you don't exactly know what's going on. The orders are changing day in, day out, whatever. There is just this, what am I doing here? Who are these people around me? Why are we connected? I don't understand this connection. I don't understand, you know, what I should go towards or what I should do, right? That's that I don't know what to do. I'm stuck here energy regarding possibly a very significant connection with one particular person. I don't care what their relationship is to you, because that's the other thing about soulmates that someone needs to hear. Soulmates do not always have to be your romantic partners. Like I said, Mrs. Stevens, second grade teacher, I would hope to God you didn't have a relationship with her, right? And that, you know, that might be, you know, kind of a tasteless joke, but I'm serious. Think about it. You can have very profound relationships with people you have no romantic interest in the slightest. So please, whoever needs to hear that, please expand your mind on what a soulmate is. It's more than ootsy cutesy bootsy, Hallmark card, you know, love of my life type energy. There are so many more ways in which a soulmate can impact you. And there, you know, and then if you really get into it, which I don't want to get into it here on my channel, is, you know, if you think about karmic partnerships, you think about divine masculine and feminine energies, or divine partnerships and twin flame and all that kind of stuff, it becomes a little bit more convoluted. So to boil it all down, to kind of make it simplistic, soulmates, they can be good, they can be bad, they can be the love of your life, they can be a stranger or someone who is totally awful to you. They all are the same. And that's kind of weird for people to really grasp. But for me, it's true. Now, regarding the whole situation, because I mean, if you kind of look at it, it's sort of in a central position on the board. Like, I don't put it up there, but, you know, it's kind of, it's available to all the previous cards that we've discussed. Your final card is the Judgment card, Libra. Oh my God, I'm about to blank. This is secondary major. Thank you for Scorpio. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio, but you don't have to be. So here's the judgment call, or here's the signal that it's time to make a judgment call. Now, I'm not saying today you need to decide or tomorrow someone else needs to decide. No, in this current phase, in this thereabouts time period, a certain judgment call is likely to be made, or is suggested that hey, maybe we call it on something here. Judgment is similar to Scorpio's main card, which is the Death card. It is the simultaneous end of something and the possible revival of something. Okay, which is different, right? Because for the Death card, it's a ending and then a simultaneous beginning. You know, and I've discussed that in previous videos. I'm not really going to go into it right now. So the Judgment is the simultaneous burying of something or putting something to bed, and then the simultaneous revival of something. You don't really see it on this card. I mean, you can a little bit, because normally what you see on the Judgment card is you see an angel above blowing their horn and calling out the dead, right? But, you know, not all graves open up. Some people remain buried, right? So that's kind of what you see here a little bit. You see the angel here, I think it would be Gabriel, right? And you see sort of the spirits or the souls of the dead kind of rousing up around that horn. So I get the sense that, you know, some of you might be calling on your spirit guides, you know, praying more, meditating more, you know. Again, I did mention it before, and I'm not calling it, I'm not sensing that someone will pass away, but there might be a significant person who has passed away, whether that be recently or, you know, many years ago, that you rely on or that you're curious about. There might be something for you to explore there. With the playing of the horn, like, I'm getting the sense of communication. I'm getting the sense of having to speak, or I'm getting the sense of reaching out with a phone call, or you know, in this day and age, a text message or an email or something like that. There could be, for some of you, a person from the past, maybe, that you want to talk to in relation to all of this, or to help you make sense of all of this. Because that could be, again, calling out to your spirit guides, or calling out to, whatever you believe in or don't believe in terms of, the afterlife. Yeah. Or it could be someone that you haven't spoken to in a long time, a long lost friend, or a long lost cousin, or, whatever, who you might, I don't know. What is that? See? It's like at certain points when I'm trying to get more information, related back to that Seven of Swords, there's certain points when I'm trying to get more information, or I'm being led to a deeper place, but then I'm immediately blocked because of, again, I'm like feeling like this onset of a headache, and I'm not getting one. I'm not getting one, but that could be what you're experiencing, or that could be what someone else is experiencing. When we get closer to the truth, when we get closer to maybe making a judgment call, to start something, to end something, to revive something, to put it to bed, whatever, someone gets a headache, someone gets like physically ill, physically indisposed, right? And that's so interesting, because before with the Six of Cups, I was talking about being attacked by like gross sour milk. And then I was talking at some other point, and I got that sensation of a headache again. And I have asked, I've mentioned this in a few readings, and I'll mention it in yours, Libra. Your girl is on a spiritual uptick. I'm on another awakening, and, I know this. And so I've asked, go ahead, Spirit, give me more. Give me more of what I don't have. Enhance me in more ways. And they have enhanced me more. I'm having more physical symptoms that don't belong to me. I've had that throughout my life, but it's like stronger and it's more immediate. So this onset of headaches, this onset of being able to taste things, crazy. I thank you, Spirit, because it's what I've asked for, and it's helping my work, and it's helping me develop as an individual. So I appreciate it. But what I'm sensing is someone gets to a point related to a judgment call. They get to a certain point and then they back off. They get to a certain point and then they can't proceed any further. Now that again can be related to that Eight of Swords energy and this confusion over what type of relationship ties am I dealing with. Is it a soulmate? Is it not a soulmate? Does a soulmate do this? Does a soulmate do X, Y, Z? Should I feel this way if this person is my karmic partner, or not my karmic partner, because karmic partners are not ideal in most cases. But if you identify someone as a karmic partner, you might then be able to know what to do with them. So someone's like in their head, Eight of Swords, not able to fully get in line with making that final judgment call, or proceeding forward with what they might feel they're being led to do, right? This is a major arcana. That's a major arcana. You have two majors on the board, so they have huge influence. And that could be why, thank you, they're saying it could be the pull and the influence of the Emperor. Because again, we talked a lot about that person, and I don't want to go back there. Thank you. Okay, because I don't want to get back into that person's energy, but just to remind you, this person is very strong. They have a very strong presence about them. They have a very strong influence about them. And it might be very difficult to confront this person, to be honest with this person, to end things with this person, to revive things with this person if there's someone that you want back in your life, or you need them at this time in some form or fashion. So there's a difficult energy of pushing through and sort of, pulling maybe that's not the best turn of phrase, but essentially being final in some type of way, and being sure and strong. Someone is less able to do that. Your outcome, Libra, for April. Oh, you might take Leo's spot for the longest reading. I don't know. Seven of Cups. So as the outcome, more confusion. Excuse me. More confusion, more uncertainty, or more feelings of being overwhelmed, of being having too many options, or not enough certainties. Thank you. That's more appropriate. Instead of having more options, not enough certainties, not enough guarantees. So going back to, for those where this is like your job, whether you're in the medical field, whether you are, James Bond Jr. or something like that, there's not enough certainty for you to make a decision, Libra, or the other person, or whoever's resonating with this reading the most, right? There isn't enough certainty. There aren't enough guarantees out there for this person to make a move in either direction. So in the meantime, they might spin their wheels. They might continue to run on that hamster wheel until something becomes clearer. When we have the Seven of Cups, we do have options before us meant to that we can evaluate. You see the different cups and the different contents, but maybe what you're looking for isn't in one of these cups, or as is the way of tarot, maybe what you want is in one of these cups, but you doubt yourself, or it's not exactly the package that you wanted, right? Like there's a dove in that one cup. Maybe you did want a bird, not a dove. Maybe you wanted an eagle. I was expecting an eagle, but you get a dove and so you're kind of like, well, no, I don't want the dove. But in Spirit's way, in the universe's way, in God's way, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, the dove is actually the most applicable, the most helpful, the most feasible option for you. But because it's not an eagle, because you were expecting like the big old talons, you wanted like the largeness of the eagle, now you have this pretty little dove and you're kind of like, I guess, but I don't know, and you're not sure, right? So again, it's not a guarantee, it's not a certainty. Therefore, you distrust it, or therefore you don't make a move on it, period. When you get to the Seven of Cups, we can be stuck in a moment of indecision, or more to the point, we're overwhelmed with the prospect of making a decision because the option that we were looking for, in pure detail did not appear, right? So, I mean, I think that kind of solidifies something for many of you, or kind of gives some of you a little bit of clarity. I don't know if I can get anything else off of that. Maybe that would be helpful. Even though you can't really tell with this depiction, because in the traditional Rider-Waite, I think at least in one of the cups, I think there's like a snake or something that most people would be like, no, a snake, I don't want that. These cups, like there's something for everybody. Or in this particular depiction, it doesn't look like any of the options are that bad. I mean, some of us might have like an adverse fear of fire, or or we might be like, oh no, water bubbles. Or, somebody in there might be like, oh my God, I hate rainbows. Who knows? But that could help you if you are familiar with the traditional depiction of the Seven of Cups, or something like it, where some of the cups, some of the options are not going to be what you want. Flat out, it's not what you want. That could be good, that could be bad, I don't know. But I suppose they're wanting me to tell you this because there might be an opportunity, or there might be a way in which you can narrow your choices from 7, from 10, from 4 down to like 2 or 3. Does that make sense? Overall energy, Libra, and the Chariot right behind. Yeah, okay. Some of you, the fact that the Chariot came up there, I get the sense that there is this wanting to go, which again might talk back to the Seven of Cups, or excuse me, the Seven of Swords, or even the Eight of Swords, wanting to move, wanting to get things going, but not in a clear set way like the Chariot would allow. Anyway, your true overall energy is the Knight of Cups. Water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You could be dealing with a water sign, but you don't have to be. Listen, Libra, whoever's resonating with this reading, or whoever this pertains to the most, you got to know what your heart wants. That's interesting. You got to know what your heart wants. You got to know. Yes, you've got to know what your heart wants. You can't guess, and you can't assume, and you can't be stagnant. Thank you. Because this night, look at him. The horse is rearing up. There is some sense of movement. And thank you. Going back here to the Eight of Swords and the Two of Cups, and like I said, someone feeling loyal, or someone feeling stuck, or again, going to that example of, well, we've been married for 30, 40 years. What's the alternative? You have to know what your heart wants. Okay? And again, I'm not, the queen of everybody break up, everybody get a divorce. No, that's not my aim with my work. But it comes up often because I am a champion for individual happiness, individual contentment, individual joy, individual autonomy. And if you have long suffered in a situation where your heart was not happy, why would you continue? This is a card of momentum. It's not as fast and it's not as explosive as, say, the Knight of Wands or the Knight of Swords, but this Knight does make moves, and it moves towards what it wants from a heart space, from an emotional space, right? So whether it's you or the other person, there is this need to get aligned with what the heart wants and make moves towards it. Does that mean it's going to be easy? No. Look at your entire reading, Libra. Has this been easy? No. Is it going to make everybody smile, and is everybody going to agree, or are you going to move in whatever way forward that you choose and everybody's going to be happy for you? No. Some people are going to be really sour and bitter and very angry at you, or feel very hurt by you, or you're going to feel very hurt by them. But I'm telling you, there is this sense I get in this reading overall that there has been an attachment or an alignment with energies that don't serve you any longer. Let's just put it that way. If that's your job, if that's a relationship with a family member, if that's a relationship in business, if that's an aspect of a relationship with yourself. I don't talk much about it, but always underneath all these readings, for the most part, we can be talking about an individual solo experience. There might be aspects of yourself where you sabotage or you lie to yourself or you do bullshit behaviors that disserve you, that undermine your own progress. You might look back at your childhood and now, as a 30-something-year-old or 40-something-year-old, you feel detached from it. You might be really, nasty or controlling towards other people. All the things we've discussed could all have been about you. What do you want in your heart? Do you want to be a better person? Do you want to seek help? Do you need professional guidance? Do you need to, whatever you need is what you have to align with. You have to know what your heart wants. And the Knight of Cups, whether this is an external person in terms of a friend, a counselor, a confidant, whatever, or if it's just energy that you can access in your peripheral, in your proximity, somewhere around you, this is an energy that always knows what it wants. Well, I shouldn't say it always, but in this reading, in this moment, knows what it wants, and will move towards it very lovingly, very kindly, very honestly, very authentically. Okay? Libra. I'm exhausted. That is your reading for April 2020. If you liked it, the like button is down below. Hit that for me. If you want to leave a comment, let me know how this reading resonated in your life. I would love to read that. I would love some clarification and understanding of what's going on here, because this was a very deep reading, and it spanned so many different storylines. So I'd be curious what you guys are experiencing. If you want to share that, again, the comment section is down below. If you want to share this video under your period of quarantine, if you want other people to know what's going on in your life, or if you want to share this with a Libra buddy who, you're going through a similar experience, you can do that with the share button. And if you have not subscribed, friends, please go ahead and subscribe. The channel continues to grow, and doing any and all of those things will help you grow out. If you want a personal reading, that again is down in the description box. And if you want to follow me over on Instagram, it's at EmpathicFire Tarot over on Instagram. Okay. Libra, I'll be back soon with your mid-Aprils and then your May messages and all that good stuff. Again, if you're subscribed, you'll be up to date on all of it. And I look forward to seeing you guys sometime in the future. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye.